Sorry, Councillor
Get
Curtin.
me, yes. Save the best for last, eh? Anyway, this to me I find absolutely fascinating and one of the most asinine council meetings I've ever attended. And we should never be here tonight debating this. This is just absolutely ridiculous, and I can't say how ridiculous. Now, having said that, I was the only councillor, I believe, that was not there on that January 25th meeting where this decision was made. I would like to think, had I been there, I might have been the one sane person in the room that called a point of order.
Oh.
However, I still have the floor, Randy. However, I'm not so sure I would have called a point of order because we had a room full of our professional managers, solicitors, all the councillors except myself, the mayor. I mean, we've been down this route before. This isn't the first time. And any one of us could have called a point of order or said, this is not appropriate to discuss this in closed session. So the responsibility for that does not rest entirely on the mayor. It rests on each and every one that was in the room at that time. That's the first thing I want to say. I have 3 points here I want to make. That's the first one. The second point I want to make is we're here debating a letter that was never sent. I mean, how dumb is that? You know, like, that's the second thing. And I guess, you know, if it seems to be a motion to rescind a letter that we didn't send or didn't get to the Prime Minister in the first place, okay, I'm going to support to rescind that letter. Now, the final point is this. We're talking about a pipeline here. And if I recall correctly, I did attend a Cities of New Brunswick Association meeting where they did have some people in talking about the pipeline. However, that never came down to the city, and I believe that at one point we even asked them to come in and do a presentation, and they said no, it wasn't going to be coming through our city, so we wouldn't be affected by it, or something to that extent. They weren't the exact words, but something along that line. Now, on one hand, we have people saying, oh, we want the pipeline, it's going to create jobs, and that's fine and dandy. I have a son that was out west too working. But on the other hand, you know, we want employment here, and suppose there was a pipeline spill or breakage, and what about our watersheds? What good is a province if our water's all contaminated? You know, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, because I understand there's a fair amount of safeguards in place and all that.
All right.
But I'm not debating the pipeline tonight, okay? And that's not what I'm saying.
You could have fooled me.
No.
Listen.
They did.
What I'm saying is leave that portion for another council when we can have public presentation and have it all out there in the open and then make those decisions based upon the information.
Wonderful, wonderful. Listen.
So that's it. I have my say.
If there anybody that hasn't spoken that wants to speak to the motion, and the motion is to rescind it, not to debate it, which will happen, I guess, if there's another motion made at another time. Are you ready for the question on the motion to rescind? And are you very clear of what we're voting on? Ready? All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Ready again. Great. There's no other motion? Dan? If I may do my concluding remarks then, if everybody's finished, because I didn't have an opportunity. This is on the heels of Marilyn's comments, and it was the editorial on the Natural Resources Task Force that I sent everybody today for Mr. Shaw, who was here present. And I think that it's interesting, and I think it's very important that this information be made public as well. And it is on their webpage, and it is on their social media site, and they are making it public. It's it deals with Ignite Fredericton, the region's economic development agency, has been working with City Council to bring information about Energy East and other natural resource development projects to a variety of stakeholders in the region, and to inform the public about the positive role natural resource development can play in the economic future of our region. Now, it says that Ignite Fredericton's mandate is to support entrepreneurs, attract and retain skilled workers through immigration, support economic development through strategic initiatives. This is the important part. On March the 31st, Ignite Fredericton and the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce made a public presentation to City Council outlining the model for a natural resources task force. What's going on?
This isn't on the agenda. It's not on the agenda.
All right. Then let me say this. Let me say this to it if you don't want me to say anything. It's just a personal opinion. You know what? You've got an election campaign. You got 1 week to go. And what I find so sad about this is you're not talking about streets, and you're not talking about recreation, you're not talking about this, you're talking about the pipeline. But you know what? You've got 7 days before the election. When you knock on the door and somebody asks you, tell them. If that's how you feel. I mean, there are people in this council chamber that feels that way. We'll share it with the public. I'm certain when I'm talking to somebody and they ask me about the pipeline, I don't beat around the bush. I tell them how I feel about it. If that's going to determine your vote, then that's so be it. It's the same with Councillor O'Brien. But nevertheless, you know what? We've learned our lesson. I think everybody's apologized. We've made ourselves look foolish. And Councillor Rogers, you're absolutely, we've done so many great things, so many good things. We don't talk behind closed doors, and we are transparent. We're taking everything to the public like we've never done before. This happens, and look what happens in the last week of the election. It's like we're secretive. It's like we're holding private meetings, like doing the business. You know what? That's the unfortunate thing, because that's not what this council's all about. So, we'll go back in and we'll do the other agenda item. For all of those that showed up, thank you. And procedurally, what's going to happen is that it's going to be discussed at a council committee meeting on an agenda open to the public after the election, and it will be dealt with. Thank you very much.